live and
Live.
and not live, depending on the
When you're watching.
yeah, exactly. Okay, stop. I don't know what all that stuff is on top. So
So
hi.
we have cacao.
We have
We have
cacao.
cacao.
Yeah, we'll get that brewing up first
Yeah, I
before
want
we
to
get
open
into the
this with that because it is.
because it's the love month, the month of love, and our anniversary month.
Is this our anniversary month?
Yeah,
Yes.
Valentine's
Valentine's
Day.
Day.
First episode,
Yes.
Remember Valentine's Day?
I don't think I came for the first episode.
No, you did. I gave you
did
guys
I?
each a little.
I got the
Yes,
heart with the
I have a
wings.
little chick.
Yeah.
And I have the
Okay.
heart with wings, and it's in my trunk. I kept it with me this
Oh.
whole time. Everywhere I went, it went with me.
I can't believe we've been doing this for a year.
I know.
That's awesome.
So we're gonna have our anniversary episode,
Look at Maddox is like, did you bring that for me? Thank
and
you.
we
Thank you
made
guys for making this.
yes, Rachel made gut healthy marshmallows, and I want to put this.
Tell us about gut
Jiggle
healthy
it up.
marshmallows. What did you make them with?
So it's got
TLC.
grass fed
Dude, just get a little
um gelatin.
Okay.
So it's meat. Not meat.
your
It's not meat,
marshmallow.
but it's cow.
and we're gonna
It's
add
dairy.
it
I
to
don't know.
our
Just drop it in.
cacao.
Oh, I almost
If
burnt
you want, it's up
myself.
to
Will
you.
it melt?
Yeah,
Okay.
it melts
it
just
gets
like a marshmallow.
yeah, it gets super. Oh man, I wish
And
you guys
sweet.
could see this, but
I just showed them. Don't worry, you're good.
well, oh, where's my camera? I'm gonna take a picture too, so I will post this because it had I
oh,
made
it's
this.
not very sweet. I
I
didn't
was
add a
gonna
whole lot of
say, yeah.
sweetener.
It's well, this'll sweeten it up.
Mhm.
It's got
'Cause
honey.
there's a shit ton of
There's
honey in
raw
this.
honey in it, and the cow. That sounds wrong. Grass fed gelatin.
So
That
yeah,
sounds better.
so it sweetens it a whole lot, and so you have things made with a lot of love in one cup. And cacao is a heart-opening plant medicine. So we're not doing this super ceremonially, but we're doing it with the intention of opening our heart and creating a safe space for us humans, but women, to have that nurturing, safe space. And Elizabeth has been traveling a bit,
Yep.
and so we want to have a soft landing place for you to express and hold and be held right now
Aw, thank you
amongst
guys.
this time.
No, I've definitely been working on open heart and solid discernment to make sure that, like, in the moments with the open heart, I have clarity on what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and what I'm facing. So,
With open eyes.
yes.
That is a very deep, bold statement. I feel like you're going through a battle, like a real war right now, because you're having to use everything you've learned.
Oh, absolutely. And I keep telling Rachel, that, like, this is what the practice is for, right? Like, all of that soft yoga time was to get me comfortable with really being in the moment, so that when the moments get real hard, I know how to be in the moment.
So, would you say that if you were facing this 15 years ago, or however long you've been on your path, would you have handled this differently?
I think my approach would have been similar because I'm me, right? Like, the decisions would have been similar, the steps would have been similar, but it would have been much more traumatic. I think I'm moving through it in a healthier way. And even with the healthier way, like, I definitely had some days when I was like, okay, I'm a little traumatized. I need to take care of myself. Um, so, but I think I've learned a lot about how to, like, really be in a moment with my eyes open, deal with the moment, take my breaths, take care of myself, and feel it, as opposed to bracing and not feel it.
Yeah.
Then I have to feel it later.
So
Like,
it's
I've
like
learned
double
how,
work.
yeah, I've learned how to not do that so much.
So you're skipping a step.
Yeah.
Like you're shortening your recovery time because you're just going right into it
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the moment.
Yeah. Well, and then, I mean, to back up for the listeners, my dad has leukemia and he was in the hospital. So I went home to be with him while he was dealing with some really severe side effects from his chemotherapy. And he's doing really well right now, and he's home and he's feeling great. But in the moment, he was in a lot of pain, and it's hard to watch the people you love hurt. And I one thing I realized was I didn't fall into like robotic management of the hard stuff. I was able to, even in the really hard moments, appreciate this is hard, and I get to be here with my dad, and I love my dad, and these are beautiful moments, even though they suck.
I think that's such a testament of strength
Yeah.
and evolution.
Evolution, I definitely
Dang.
think.
Wow.
It it's this, yeah, this is life, right? Life comes with really hard stuff, and I'm choosing to live with the hard stuff and do what I have to do because this is life, and recognize that there's beautiful moments even in the hard moments.
That's beautiful and hard.
Yeah.
It really is. I totally feel you.
I think the other thing too that I keep reminding myself is like, this is happening to him. This is his disease. This is his illness. This is his treatment. This is his pain. I love him. I'm here to support him. And it's not happening to me. So I'm really actively working on in the moment, being very present with, I'm here as in a supporting role. This isn't about me. And that's hard. It's really easy to slip into, oh my God, my world's out of control, and like, and I'm working to be very present in every moment, and to remember, like, hey, Dad, what do you want? What do you need? How can I support you? As opposed to getting
hard,
lost
yeah.
in like, what do I need?
Mm-hmm.
And then also, like, what do I need? Because I need to take care of me too.
Yeah, because
right?
it is happening to you,
Right.
Yeah.
separate from it happening
Right.
to him first.
And you have support out there that was like, come to the house, get a shower.
Yep. No,
Take a nap.
absolutely. Rachel
So
called
that-
me to check on me, and she was like, "Are you taking care of you?" And I said, "I am." And my aunt's house is open to me, and at one point I went to her house and took a shower, and she, while I was in the shower, rolled out a yoga mat and was like, "Okay, before you go back to the hospital, stretch." And then while I was stretching, she like rubbed my back and she put oils on me, and it only, it was 20 minutes, but I felt so cared for. Like, I just felt really
Helps.
loved in that moment.
Yeah. You can pause for a second.
Yeah.
That's
She sounds like an awesome
She's
lady, too.
wonderful. Yeah.
that's good. Is that your dad's sister?
Dad's sister. Yeah.
Oh.
And is she the one who went and did the tea for him and
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah.
She's the one who did the tea.
Mm.
And then my other aunt is just as wonderful. She unfortunately had RSV during the time that I was
Oh.
there, so she had to stay away. And she was kind of brokenhearted about it, like she couldn't actively support, but she was like phone calls and text messages and sending things, and like she was actively supporting, just not the way she wanted to.
Yeah.
But again, like life is life, and we
Yeah.
just deal with what happens.
Yeah. So coping.
Yeah.
You're coping.
I'm coping. I'm coping. I think I told you both. I committed that I was going to do an article for LinkedIn once a month,
Mm.
and I did my January article, and then I was like, all of this kind of started at the last bit of January, around the time I was thinking about the February article, and then I was like, oh my God, life's out of control. How am I going to write anything? And in the hospital, I kind of thought, like, okay, like this is no different than work stuff. Like, how do we solve hard problems? When we solve hard problems, like, okay, what am I doing right now? First, I stop, I breathe, I get perspective. Then I don't have to solve the whole thing because I don't know what the end solution is. I just make a decision and I do the next thing. And then I consistently do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I just be persistent. And then I pull in my people, right? And, at one point I had a list of like, this is what's going on with Dad. Here are all the things I'm thinking of. Hey, Rachel, what else? What am I missing? And I think that like that works. It translates whether it's a work problem or a home problem or a medical problem or a heart problem. It's stop, take a breath, take the next step, pull in your people. And that seems to work every time.
Yeah, definitely shutting off the noise. Like there's a theme of retreating into your inner stillness. It's like first, like a turtle, like retreat to safety, analyze the situation, calm your nervous system, and then pop out.
Yeah.
Right. I
Right.
think that's a mechanism that we're just not taught. We all have to seek and learn how to do ourselves to regulate.
Yep.
Before reacting.
Well, and my husband and I have started cold therapy. And we ordered, so we did a workshop around New Year's, and it was a 2 hour. So there was yoga, there was asana, there was talking, there was breath work and meditation, and then it culminated in a 2-minute cold therapy session. And we liked it, so we bought a cold therapy pool, and we hadn't filled it up when I went to go be with my dad in the hospital. But when I came back and I was at like, and I think this is very normal, right? Like when things were really crazy and bad, I was in the mentality of solving, right? What do I need to do? How do I show up? How do I support him? And then when I got home, I was like, I can't sleep. I can't think of anything else but him. Oh my God, I'm so worried. Like then that's when the anxiety and the trauma response started. And so my husband filled up the cold pool, and every morning I've been getting in it, and it's been a really neat way to manage my nervous system.
Really?
And yeah,
You haven't found that it's activated you at all?
it hasn't activated me. Not in the like Kundalini activates me, and I'm still doing my Kundalini kriyas.
I guess I mean activate your nervous system. It doesn't do the opposite. It calms you, not.
It's giving me 2 really present minutes, 120 seconds of presence in the morning, and I've every morning experienced like this really neat moment of divinity. And it's each morning it's been different. Like one morning, like I get in, and for the first 30 seconds, it's like, oh, my legs are achy. Oh, my arches hurt. Oh, I'm really cold. And then I take my deep breaths. I come into the present moment. And like one morning I saw a crane swoop across my sky, like from right to left. And he was just so elegant and just moved so gracefully. And before I knew it, like I was just completely lost in like that moment with the crane. And then the alarm was going off. It was time to get out of the pool. And one morning it was water dripping off the porch. Like same thing. I was really cold and I was managing the body aches, and then all of a sudden I heard like drip, drip, and it just like
Stillness.
boom, right. It felt like this like really pronounced moment where I was in tune with like the divine and the moment and source.
You feel the waves off of each drop. Yeah.
Oh, it
Where it
was
ripples through your whole
amazing.
body. You become one with the water.
It was
drip.
so cool.
That's wild. It sounds so wild to say it out loud, but that's what it is.
Yeah. And then this morning it was a cardinal. And the like same thing. Like I'm cold. My thighs hurt. My arches hurt. Oh, I'm so cold. I can't get deeper in the water. And then all of a sudden I saw this cardinal, and he had grabbed a worm, and he came up onto the banister of my porch, and he brought the worm up, and he was like just like moving his jaw and working to get the worm in his mouth. And I was just looking at him, and I was like, whoa, this is a cool moment.
Like slow down time a little bit.
Just
cool.
So
do you dunk yourself all the way in, and then, or do you go in stages?
I go into my shoulders.
Yeah.
I do not do my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I keep my head out and I go to my shoulders and kind of right at my collarbone. And then I deep breaths and just manage for the 2 minutes.
That's so powerful.
Yeah. I'm loving it. It's been really good for me.
Do you just get out and get in a towel, or do you like run to the hot shower, or like do you get out and do you feel your body?
I've done both. I've gotten out and I've run a bath. I've run a hot bath and done it, and then gone to the hot bath. I've gotten out and I've gone to the hot shower. I've also gotten out and just gotten dressed and gone out about my day. It's all a different experience. I don't really have a preference at the moment. I haven't decided what I like the best.
What did you do on Monday?
that was a straight. I came straight. So when I got here to work out, I was like, "Whoa, I'm cold!" And so she
Oh.
turned the red light on for me, and I
Okay.
sat under the red light for a minute.
Nice. Yeah. I don't like that feeling where you can't get warm all day.
Yeah.
You know? But
I haven't had that happen, but I have like right now I have my ski socks on
nice.
because when I got out of the cold this morning,
like,
like I was chilly and I
Yeah.
was like, I think really thick socks would make my life better.
I love how it makes you appreciate so much how it feels to feel warm.
Yes.
You know, like it's like but we get so used to warm showers and warm all the time. Like when I lived in Mexico, it was all cold showers. It was really hot outside,
Mhm.
but sometimes it was chilly and I wanted that feeling of a hot shower. And so I would boil water in my little on my hot plate, my kettle, and fill it up a little bit and then fill the rest with regular water and put it in the shower with me. And just to get that wonderful feeling of warmth at the very end of my shower, I would like tip it so slowly and just be like, it's like I
There's
appreciated it so much.
there's something to be said for having to like work
for
for
your
your
heat.
luxury. Yeah.
Like fire. We were talking about that. There's something so powerful in working for heating yourself.
Yeah, I think like, and I've been like rolling around in my head for a couple of years with like this whole concept of like um the misery that comes with too much.
Too much comfort.
Yeah, too
Yeah.
much comfort.
Too much convenience.
And because then like then we look like we find this place where like we've lost our soul.
You can't feel
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah. You're so numb to your I feel like the most spiritual place to be is fully in your body, right? Instead of ascended outward somewhere, it's fully present in your body because your body is a piece of the creator and it has technologies in it to communicate with the things outside. So it's like go deeper to go further out.
That's a great way to describe this whole cold therapy thing.
That's what, yeah.
Because like when I'm sitting in that water and I'm breathing and I'm trying to like manage my nervous system and like bring myself to like calmness, I'm right there.
Yeah.
Like, there's nowhere else for me to be because I'm really just right
Yeah.
in that moment.
You can't escape it. You just go into to me I'm starting to get visuals of what that feeling is, and it's like the black of our pupil. If you hover the eye looking down from the top through the bottom, it's that stillness is the black hole pupil of your body. It's like if we're a toroidal field, which we are, that center is like your pupil. It's like where the nothingness is. And a lot of people talk about how creation is like this black cosmic womb. It's black nothingness, but it contains everything. That's what I feel like our pupil is. It's the void.
I read something similar to what you're saying just this week, but it was talking about the third eye.
Yeah.
And like the symbolism of the third eye is we have these two eyes with the pupil, and when they're both looking at the exact same thing and they become one, that's the dark.
That's the vents with the whale on the wall.
Oh yeah.
And that's the we were talking about a deep state of meditation I got into, and I was having like sort of a hallucination, but it was just my brain creating visuals because I was getting so centered that it was like showing me all these cool things. But it was when I got in that place, it was just that nothingness. And Rachel was like, I've experienced that in anesthesia.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's I think we all share that. That's like what makes us all connect. And to me, with the toroidal field, it's like that makes so much sense because all of our energy we're a field of energy, but there is a space in between. And it's that space between, that liminal space of nothingness where everything is born. So when you can get to the void in your own mind, you can create from that place. So that's why if you calm your nervous system and you get to that stillness, whatever thoughts come in fresh from that are like imprinted the loudest. So when you're in that calm place after your cold plunge, like, and you see the cardinal,
right, then it's just me and the cardinal.
Yeah, you're one with God and one with creation. It's like you're manifesting from a place of oneness, which is the highest state of unconditional love. You know, it's like so only good can happen from that. So starting your day that way sounds pretty good.
It's a neat way to start your day.
It's a neat way to start the day.
Well, I've been for a couple of years now. I've been really leaning into like mystical Christianity and like the Franciscan way, and like this whole concept of religion tied to direct experience with the divine as
Mhm.
opposed to
Stories.
secondhand
Yeah.
experience with the divine.
Yeah.
And in my heart, that's kind of what it ties to, right? Like
Yeah.
me and that cardinal is my direct experience with
Yeah.
the creator.
Yes.
You talk to God.
Yep.
Yeah. And I love how this is coming full circle with all of our stories, because it's like that's transcending the ego.
Yeah.
And so when you, as a person, as a human in the body, say, I talked to God today, why do the pitchforks and the knives come out when you say that? When in fact, all you've done is transcended the mask that religion has put on you.
Yeah.
And not just religion, but I mean society.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it's
The stories become a mask and you took it off, and
right.
and now you're
It's the direct experience,
not through anything else.
not through anybody else's definition of what it has to look like.
Clear lens.
Right.
So, not to go to the negative side, but to me, that's what all of our systems in place prevent us from understanding, is that you just take your mask. In fact, they built the masks. So it's like if we just all take our masks off, we understand that place is where all creation comes from. And
But
that we
that-
all have the ability to see it if we wipe
Yeah.
our eyes.
Scary though for a lot. That
Because the structure
Yes.
is safety,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
For
A false sense of safety.
Yes.
And we believe that that's safety. But safety is being in that place.
Well, and I think people are social people and they love communities. So if you're going into that, you're safe in your community.
Yeah, false sense of safety. Because you get it from inside, not outside.
I agree. But I love the way, false sensitivity.
It is,
Like
though.
you're right. I
Yeah.
agree.
But I
But yeah.
also, I mean, to your point, I'm trying to like take in all of this and figure out what I think about it. But I think humans are connected creatures. We're meant to be connected creatures. So
Mhm.
seeking that sense of safety and connection
It's natural.
is natural, right?
Yeah.
But the
And-
safety that we're being taught isn't, it's actually a prison
Well,
of the mind.
seeking the connection of others is safety.
Right.
And it's over the time, anything of man gets warped, right? Because the people in power want more power. So then
Yes.
there are these rules that are applied to it that only if you do it this way.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just structure put in place for power hierarchy, not for like it really is as simple as going out and being with the cardinal. Like that's
Yes.
it. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be harder
Right.
than that.
Yeah.
And the
Um,
safety that you get from connecting with people through lies is not real safety. So then they use fear to keep you in that false sense of safety. Because really, you're in a prison of your mind because you can't connect to yourself. So it's connecting to self is the only safe.
Or we could not
Place.
label it bad, prison, good. Like,
Yeah.
we could let go of all those labels and just be
do our own thing.
right.
I don't. Yeah. In my own house. It feels safe here for the most part. I'll talk about my little story that happened yesterday that I told you this morning. With my coping mechanisms. So when you're in a space or a time, I don't even know how to explain it. So Yeti ate another sock, and we had to.
Yeti's the dog.
Yes, Yeti is the dog, and so we were trying to get her to throw up, and my husband is like on his busy like phone calls every 2 seconds, doesn't really have time, and he's like, you're gonna have to do it, I gotta be on this call, and this is not my, that is not, I want it to happen naturally. I don't want to force it because I'm scared, because then if something bad happens.
Now hold on. You want it to happen naturally, meaning you want
throw
her
up.
to expel
Yes,
whatever
expel.
it is on her own. without-
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And I don't want to force it, because so besides all that, so I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do it, but I needed to do it. So it didn't work though. maybe because I didn't want it to. I mean, I did.
Because you're stressed.
Yeah. So I'm like full on anxiety, walking the dog, by the way, for an hour. And that was also the day that I did not, I had changed my eating schedule that day. So I hadn't really had a lot yet. I was supposed to be eating right then, but I had to do this emergency procedure. And so I'm walking. And then I had to go do something for 3 hours. And guess what? In the middle of it, didn't feel well. And I had to go lay down. I had to tell my people that I had to go lay down in the middle of it.
Her clients. She's working on it.
Because I couldn't not go lay down. So I told them the whole, I kept it, I was honest with them, and I'm like, this is what I need to do. And I did it, and I did it 3 times. And then afterward, I just allowed myself to shut down and heal the stress. Like breathe, close my eyes, relax, do some breath work, and then just allow. I think my sympathetic nervous system was going crazy during all that. And then I couldn't get, even relaxing, I couldn't get it to shut off.
Right.
So I had to then just shut down for the rest of the day. Like I ended up going to bed and woke up and I was great, but it took all that time from just throwing it out of whack to trying to bring it back down wasn't working. So I had to literally stop and be like, sorry, I need to fix myself. I need to fix myself. So
what did you do to fix yourself?
I just did my breath work and laid there and allowed my body to relax and didn't do any of the work that I still had to do. I'm like, it can wait. How am I feeling right now?
Did it work?
For the most
How
part,
are
yeah.
you feeling today?
I feel better.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've come to well, also at midnight, the sock came out.
At
So
midnight?
all is well.
Were you able to
Right on
get
the
it
dot?
before it went back in?
I did. In the dark. In the dark. She's in her crate. I hear the noise.
Cinderella. She had to go.
And I'm like, and I get up and I'm like trying to get my phone to get my flashlight, and I'm like, no, that's not working. And I go in there and I pull her out because I didn't think she had done it yet, but she had. And so I pull her out and we have a door in our bedroom, and so I whip her outside and she's still making the noise, but I think it was just leftover. So I go back in and I'm like feeling around, and in the
feel it with your hand.
Well, she sleeps under a blanket.
Okay.
So I'm like feeling over top of the blanket,
Okay.
and I feel this thing and I'm like, oh my God. So I grab the blanket. It's still dark, by the way. I grab it and Rich is like, what's going on? What's going on? And finally he turns the light on. So then I pull the whole blanket out and I run out, and there it is in the blanket. And I dump it into the garbage, and I put that freaking blanket right back inside because there was no extra.
It was just a sock.
Juices,
Yeah.
shall I say? Yeah. And so I throw her back in. I cover her back up with her barfy blanket, and I go to bed. And it was all good.
It's like you're a toddler mom all over again.
It is. But yeah. So I'm like, we came up with a plan, and
Did you order the bags?
I did.
Okay.
And the hooks.
So the new plan is those like lingerie bags that zip up. So she's ordered a bunch of them, and now everyone in the house, when they take their socks off, will put them in lingerie bags and zip them, so the dog cannot get hold of them.
Yeah,
The original idea was baskets with nails in the wall to put, because the mesh basket was my idea, and you said, and I'm gonna put a nail in the wall.
Yeah,
and I
a
said,
thick
how about
one.
we do
How about we do something else?
like the gentle hooks or
Yeah.
something like that, and then that's what y'all's idea was. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
the solution.
great minds think. Hopefully
Hopefully it works.
Hopefully.
It's I think in theory it's a great idea. We're
brilliant.
gonna have to see what happens in execution.
Yeah. There's gonna be bags everywhere. Everywhere you turn.
Well,
There's
and
gonna
you're
be a bag
still
right
gonna
here.
have to watch her because if she gets a bag, she'll eat that. Right?
She will.
It'll just take
Yeah,
her longer.
could she get the whole bag now? And then she was like double treats or something?
She could. It'll just take her a little while.
To tear through it.
You'll have to
we'll catch
hear
her.
it.
Right.
Usually I'm
You'll hear
chasing her around everywhere. Like she needs to be
The problem with the socks
around.
is she can get it down so quickly.
quick. Yeah. Like she disappears and comes back
It's
like
gone.
5 seconds later. And I'm like, oh, she must have just had to go pee, or because she'll run out here with it, eat it, go back in, or whatever she's doing. I don't know. But anyway, it's fine for now. I may have to do this again, and I may explode. It might happen that way. But I know that it's not being done on purpose. You know what I mean? Like I really went through all the no one's out to get me or the dog, it's just a
She's not doing it on purpose.
She's not
The
doing
people
it on
aren't
purpose.
doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just a challenge
Yeah.
right now.
and it's not something that I don't think I can train out of her. So we have to just keep that away from her.
You have to
Unless
protect
your
her from
dog
her
trainer.
instincts.
Yes. Oh, speaking of dog training, come here, handsome.
Watch out, there's a candle.
He's like, oh, candle schmandle. But anyway, so what book are you reading right now?
I am reading a handful of books at the moment. I can't think of the author. The one that is really grabbed my attention is a mystery, and it's called The Night She Disappeared.
Ooh.
But I can't think of who wrote it. But the title is The Night She Disappeared. And it's all about a young girl and her boyfriend who disappear while they're out on a date night. And the story is like her mother who was home babysitting for them the night they disappeared. And it's one of those that kind of time jumps. So it's the lead up to the disappearance. Like you hear all the things that are happening in the lead up. And then it's a year after the disappearance and they're still trying to figure out what happened to them. And now the timelines are kind of converging.
Ooh,
And
that's cool.
I really want to know what happened to this girl.
What's the main character's names?
Tallulah and Zach are the teenagers. And the mom's name is Kim. And then there's a side character who's actually an author that writes detective novels. Her name's Sophie. And she comes in a year after the disappearance, and because she writes detective novels, she thinks detective like, and so she's like finding new clues a whole year later
as she's writing.
And so now things are starting to unfold, and I'm just like, what happened?
I might need to read that one when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
If it's on, is it on Kindle or?
I got it through the Libby app from the library.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's from the Forsyth Library. I'll take a screenshot when I get home and send it to you.
Okay.
We can put it in the show notes.
Because I have 2 credits. I can get an Audible.
I've always got 4 or 5 books in the rotation,
Yeah.
and this one has grabbed my full attention. I haven't looked at any other book.
And they're babysitting for who?
The
teenagers.
They're 19, and they were young parents,
Uh-huh.
and they lived at home with her mom, and so the mom was babysitting while they went out for a date night.
How many
and they
kids
never
do they
came
have?
home. 1-year-old baby.
What's the baby's name
1-year-old
in the book?
Noah.
Interesting.
I've been reading a lot of nonfiction lately. This is the first fiction that's really grabbed me, and I just can't stop. And I'm still reading The God of the Woods, but
Okay.
I'm about halfway through that one. I just got taken by this one.
Yeah, that
Huh.
sounds like it. That's right up my alley. That one. I'm reading Your Dog Is. I'm not reading it. I'm listening. Your Dog Is Your Mirror, but I'm gonna have to
This
read
one?
it.
This one?
He's my mirror. No. By Kevin. I don't know how to say Behan. 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 He's a dog trainer. Or he was. I think he's retired now. But look at the face. That's the face that Yeti makes when she's
your
naughty.
mirror.
But it's really good. It's he's going through, like, he started to talk about how your dog is your mirror, um and how dogs don't think like we think. It's just like they're like little machines, and it's like, oh, cause and effect kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that this gets this, like if I do this, this gets this, but it's not
Right.
like a thought process.
They're not making decisions. Like
Yeah.
critical thought decisions.
Yes. So then now we're in the midst of like how he got started and how he was when he was younger, and all this other cool stuff. So
I found it. The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell.
right. I'm just gonna put that in my list on Amazon. But don't mind me. So, and also, you have coming up a terrific work trip.
I am.
With a little added bonus at the beginning.
Yeah. So I have a leadership meeting coming up. Not going to talk about where. And it starts on Monday, but my husband and I are adding in a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just get away. So I think it's going to be a nice week.
That's always fun to do, especially if it's going to be, some sightseeing stuff to do. That's always fun. I said, no, I'm kidding. But anyway, how long? Or do we just?
Well, does Travel Rachel have anything to add? Anything going
on?
Anything?
Oh, not I have a lot of things in the works.
It's to be continued on that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Marshmallows.
Have you learned any? So we talked about my coping skills. We talked about you coping through the Yeti thing. Have you picked up any new coping skills, or are you still working through the? Hello, Matt.
Yeah, discernment is the theme, and trust in myself has been proving to inch me further to where I'm meant to be going.
Yeah, I love that.
Like a lot.
So, again, discernment, because I believe everything's energy, and energy changes a lot more than people think, and so being able to discern energy changes is really helpful in making decisions for me. And in terms of like practices, I haven't adopted any new practices, but what I have done is fine-tuned old practices and discarded practices that I was using just to be doing a practice instead of using it as a tool. So anything that felt excessive that actually wasn't giving me any return, I sort of have dropped with grace, forgiveness, patience, and acceptance. Anything that seems to be working, I've given a little bit more energy to, and that has seemed to balance me out a bit in terms of taking challenges on, because there's a lot of patterns that have been dismantling in my brain, especially with my self-worth, because I know how much I'm worth in terms of energy, and I know how much I've been lying to myself my whole life about that. So that has been really cool. And that feeling is present the most when I'm the most honest with myself about what practices to, like I just said, to either like stay focused on and improve on, or to just stop trying so hard to do so many different things.
What's your favorite practice right now?
Breath work. Yeah, but I don't follow a template. That's the thing.
Right.
It's the perfectionism program comes in every time I try to adhere to practices for the sake of saying that I adhere to practices, or for the sake of trying it because other people are doing it. It's like when I drop all of that and I just listen to what my body in presence wants me to do with my breath, it gives me results of calm and oneness. But if I like try too hard to
I'm gonna
try.
do 20 minutes every day or whatever.
That's the minute that nothing happens. So it's been a matter of finding my own stillness and quiet enough to find what works. And then when I get into that place, it takes a fraction of the time to achieve the result of regulating my system. You know, it's like,
Love that.
but also Ashtanga has come back into my I had to sigh with that one. Ashtanga has come back into my purview because it's like come back full circle to a point where I'm ready to step onto the mat with intention because I'm able to hold my energy properly and not be thinking about anything outside of the movements and my breath. And I think I think it's come back at the right time because I don't think I've been in an environment to where I feel like I don't know, where I feel like I'm allowed to practice. If that makes sense, like I feel like where I've been moving around and stuff and I've done my practice and my practice is just an intuitive flow. But I'm ready to and I've started to plug back into this is sort of what I'm talking about with the practice being mine or being because I want to do it. It's like the Ashtanga thing has come back to where I can dedicate myself to it and then find out. Rachel pointed this out. It's like I can decide now if I want to adhere to the guidelines of a particular lineage or if I want to continue flowing for myself. And I think I'm in the middle because I feel like my body and my spirit and my breath and my posture is ready for Ashtanga because I've been practicing it the way that I was taught and I feel like a different body because I feel more present and in myself, in my body. Like I feel like my breath is finally connecting and now all the cues I was given that didn't make sense that I tried to force, now they make sense. Like everything just sort of melts into place. So before it was like, and now it's like, you know?
Yeah,
so,
I know exactly what you mean.
So that feels good, but I'm aware that the perfection program still runs. And so I'm like walking between worlds of either diving back into Ashtanga, the community and everything, or using this beautiful place I've arrived at in my Ashtanga practice and keeping it for myself. Like it could go either way. I don't know.
You don't have to know yet.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm just playing
you don't
with
have
it.
to ever know. You
I
just keep
know.
moving.
That's the perfection program where it's I start overthinking like, am I good enough to be part of the community? But I know that I am because I know I'm flying on the mat. So, and that's the point. And I'm still intimidated by it a little, but I love the boot camp aspect of it. Like I love the hard work that it takes to flow through a primary fucking series.
Yeah.
It takes a warrior. So it's like I still feel like I want to be a warrior.
I wonder if that's why they're named that.
Primary.
Yeah, because you're a warrior of getting into that center of your torial field. And that takes a warrior because you have to fight so many layers of conditioning. And it literally gets you into oneness when you do it. When you put your belly button on your kidney and you breathe from your fucking chronic center up your Sushumna Nadi, it's like DMT release, and that's oneness. It's in my opinion, when you reach oneness, your brain produces DMT. That's that feeling. And so when you get into the proper Ashtanga poses with the right breath, it's like, to me, that is boot camp yoga. That's extreme yoga. It feels really good.
I think they're all paths to in my opinion, they're all paths to the same thing, right?
Yes.
Because I've had yoga take me to that same place we were talking about.
Probably in yin or something. Yeah. It's to me, boot camp, my style of like, I'm extreme and I feel like it fits me. But I don't think that I have to be glued to that path in order to achieve any kind of sense of one. Yeah, I totally agree.
It's all energy, and we're tapping into an energetic flow. it's different things work for different people.
Anything can work for anyone.
Yeah.
You can be in jail staring at an ant and see God.
I find it like sometimes in running.
Exactly.
The
The
footstep
runner's
sound
high.
and the breathing.
That's meditation at its finest.
Well, and remember in that James Nestor book that we read, the breath, breathe, was it breath or breathe? Breath.
There's no
He talked about it there too, right? When you get the breath right, you get to that place.
Yeah.
Right.
I picture
air quotes right.
Yeah,
Right.
I picture us being like a sperm, but we are, because you have a skull and then your spine. Whenever all the organic matter falls off, you're left with a sperm shape. You know what I mean?
Your brain and your spine, is that what you're
Like your skull and your spine that's your central nervous system. That's the fractal of creation that gets shot out. To me, if you think of a big bang of light and you're a piece of God, which is light, which is all, it's like, and you become a little sperm. So it's like, and then you grow a spine and then you grow arms, you know, to me. So it's like, if you're erasing all of this and you're going back to the moment of your conception or whatever, like you're like you're a central nervous system that gets added on with different parts of biology. So it's like going back to the smallest piece of yourself. The source is sperm. I'm kidding. But it's
The
like your
sperm of
spine
ourself.
from here to like our nervous system is like the thing that makes us what we are. Yeah, because first you have to wiggle. And like, so to me, it's like you're getting down to oneness is like getting back to being like, but everything, you know, and you melt down. I forgot why I went into that, but it's the spine, like visualizing your spine aligning and all that energy shooting up to it.
And then that makes me, and I'm not arguing with you because now I have to think about this. I'll think about it for 6 months and then we'll talk again.
I can't wait.
Because then I wonder, is it really like, is the nervous system the base of us, or is it the consciousness?
No, I think it's consciousness, but I think when it gets into matter, it becomes the nervous system. The electrons create.
It's our
light.
gut.
It's our gut. Okay, so same question for you. What's your favorite practice right now?
What's my favorite practice right now? That's a hard one.
Or coping skill, or like however you want to
really
articulate it.
And I haven't done a longer than a few minutes, but just meditation, like getting my mind from all the thoughts, just focusing on my breath and coming in. And I don't do my third eye a lot. I end up to really drop in. I do the space between my nose and my upper lip, and that's where I bring my focus. So it's Ashtanga.
Oh, that's
so past your nose,
really
right?
good.
Yeah.
And it creates that same pressure. Right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that feels.
Yeah.
So, and it'll be 2 minutes, and I'll do like a guided. If I'm really racing, I'll throw on a guided 5 minutes. At nighttime, I've been here and there. If Rich is home, I can't do this, but if he's not home, I do. Like tonight, I will do this instead of putting the TV on and closing my eyes and listening to him watch YouTube videos. I can close my eyes and I'll put on Yoga Nidra, and I focus on that, and then I fall asleep in 2 seconds, but I need to have that single focus on self and breath, and that's been so not even an asana practice, just a breath practice and meditation has been what I've been, because I feel like I'm moving and running and moving and running, and so I feel like this has been so helpful.
Yeah, I definitely know my body needs the movement, right? Like we're still doing our weights 3 times a week, and I'm still doing my asana practice, and like I know in order for my muscles to be healthy, they need to move. But I agree with you. The breath work and the meditation is really what's kind of getting me through at the moment.
And it's good. It's a recharge in itself, really. Like you feel energized when you're done with it, especially when you're doing it in a cold plunge, which I'm not, but
well, I'm also giving myself permission to say no to things. Like that's another one. Like I've had a couple of nights since I came back from traveling, where, by the end of a work day, I don't have another word to share with another person. And I'm just like, I'm just not going to come to that thing.
Yeah.
And that's been really freeing.
It is.
I love that so much. People need to do that more. Just say no. Just say no.
It's okay.
Don't people
Yeah.
please. And also, even if you don't go through a physically challenging or like your time is being taken, like even if it's all like a depressive week or an emotionally busy week, even if you just laid there, I just want to point out and add to what you said by saying still rest.
No,
Yes.
absolutely.
Sometimes the mental part is insidious as hell on your energy.
That's
exhaustion.
absolutely, because mine hasn't been physical. It's been, by the end of the day, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
I just want to curl up and close my eyes and not talk to anybody.
And you need to do that for as many days as it takes for you to feel back to neutral, because
Yeah.
you're giving, like, and giving and giving. I feel like we should all be, not us three, but like all of us as like people and females, to be way more understanding about sometimes we just need to sleep or we just need to not for a minute. And that's the
Yeah.
healthiest thing you can do for other people, is take that time to just not.
Yeah. Well, and I think
With no
previously,
judgment or shame.
the judgment and shame, that's exactly where I was going. Because previously in my life, when I've said no to things, I've
get
stayed
guilty.
home, but then I've guilted, or I've laid there and felt bad, or
Feel
like,
guilty.
and then I don't really recharge because I'm sitting there feeling
Drained.
bad because I'm not where I think I should be.
It's further draining your, so
Right.
guilt and shame, I feel like they interplay with this, and I feel like this is something that society has built into our brains. One of those things,
Yeah.
one of the many things is this, it's multifaceted, but it's like females, we're programmed, and this is such a general statement, right? Like very blanketed, but females were programmed to like judge each other if we can't give each other or whatever. And then it's like, if we like say Sally's judging Susan because Susan doesn't want to come to the function, right?
Yeah.
And that will make Sally be alone in the function, because her only purpose in the function, again, very general, is
Yes.
I'm being so reductive, but like Sally's general purpose at the function, meaning some kind of party or something, is to be seen with friends, to be adored, and to feel right. And so if she's alone, she can't function at the function. Conjunction junction. And so then that creates shame. It's all unconscious. I feel, because we're just running on a program. It's like, oh no, so I'm gonna make you feel ashamed that you need to take rest, and then Sally lays in bed taking the rest.
Feeling
but
guilty.
The mirror from that reaction, the shame giving, the bounce back is guilt. So if we neutralize and we give each other space and we drop the story that I can't function at the function without my conjunction partner, I can't have fun. You know what I mean? And then on Sally's side, it's like she feels guilty for needing rest because the only purpose she serves is to support her friends, right?
Yeah.
But real support between those friends, he always does this when I'm on some real good shit. Like he literally always has something to talk about.
This is important.
He's participating.
He's cheering me on. But yeah, I'll finish by saying that if
tap
we
you.
leveled out the expectation that really supporting each other is letting us feel our feelings, and that might involve a lot of silence or inward cocooning, then we all have an equal expectation of, well, Sally's recharging in the incubator. She's going internally, she's recharging. Now, there's also probably a level of, if it's been 2 months, Sally might need some help.
Yeah.
But right? But
And
I
then
feel
go see if she's okay.
yeah, there's like a cushion. There's like a quick reaction time that we're programmed to, with judgment and shame, and it bounces back and forth.
Well, it kind of goes back to the systems and structures you were talking about earlier, right? Like we built these systems and structures, and if you don't participate in them in a very specific way, then you're doing something wrong. You said expectation, and I think for me it comes back to that, right? If I let go of my expectations of you and even of me, and I just do what is right in the moment, my husband and I talk about it in terms of like, it's not my job to make him happy, and it's not his job to make me happy.
It's your job to make him happy, though.
Yes. My job is to make me the best possible me, and his job is to make him the best possible him, and then together we're stronger. Same thing in our friendship, right? My job is to focus on me, your job is to focus on you, and then we show up together supportive,
Right.
as opposed to, hey Rachel, if you don't do that thing, then I'm gonna be disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, we've got to let go of all that.
And there's something to say about the evolution of needs for people. Like, some people have, everyone's going through different cycles of their own, but we all share cyclical nature. So it's like the honoring of cycles, I guess. Like, in past friendships,
keep talking,
that I've had, it's been the complete opposite of that, where, like we've talked about. And I think that these systems and structures and things are things we've co-created because we've participated in them, right? And it's not our fault that we're subject, and it's not our fault that people are subject to these systems and are unaware that they're in a system and that they have a choice to choose differently. That I don't blame anybody for that.
Yeah,
because that goes back to the expectation, right?
Exactly.
Like, we can coexist. You can continue to participate in that system, and I can opt out.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
Softening, like I was saying about with your energy field and his energy field, where it's like, when you change your field, it ripples outward. And if there's someone in your life who their field is unchanging, that ripple will change their field, because that's how much we all affect one another. So I was just saying a general example of, like, when a person changes or decides to take responsibility for their actions, for example, and start to look inward and work on their presence, it, like, for example, like my dad, if I am around my dad a lot and I start working on myself and don't expect him to do anything different and don't talk to him about doing anything different, he starts to change based on me changing for myself.
The interaction is different.
Yeah, but there's no words about it. There's no expectation about it. There's not even a thought about it. It's just something I've witnessed happen after the fact, after it's changed, after I've stopped trying to change someone else. I guess I'm just talking about my dad right now. But it's like, the more that I would focus less on things outside of me, meaning words someone says to me or things people do or don't do or whatever, the more I forget about that and let them do what they're going to do and be who they're going to be and not try to change their mind, the more I notice that I have stillness. And then I'm back to not worrying about that. I'm back here. And it's like, I'm not worrying here. I'm like focused on my breath here or whatever. Or I'm just trying to be. And it's like, doing that puts everyone around me in a better mood, for example. Right. And so it's like, okay, I guess it's just inside. I guess this shit's just inside. It's weird. That's it. It was a weird ramble.
It was good.
It made a lot of sense to me, though. Like,
because he's right here next to my ear gland or whatever.
I tie it back to what I was saying earlier, for me specifically, about like my dad and his illness and his choices and his approach and how he's doing it is his way. Because, like, we all have opinions about how to do life. And as he's navigating this, of course, I have opinions about what he should do and how he should take care of himself and what next and all those things. And I'm having to like really pull back from that and not like remind myself that, like, just because I have an opinion doesn't mean that that's the way he's going to do it. And showing up in love means that I let him be himself and navigate this his way and let go of the expectations around how he should do things.
Yeah. And then usually sometimes in that scenario, it's like they soften a little bit.
They soften, you end up with those great pieces of goodness inside
because it causes a ton of tension when you show up and you're like, but you should do it my way.
Because we're coming from a place of fighting or defense, and anyone can detect a vibe of defense, right? Even if it's like for the name of the good of all, it's like you're still got your fist in the air, bro. Put it down. That's so hard, dude. I can't even. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
That's such an important reminder for myself because I can
For
get
all of
so
us, right?
passionate.
Such an
Yeah.
important reminder for my husband too. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. But
I get so passionate when things click for me. I'm like, I want everyone to understand, but the
This
thing
is
is,
the only way.
nobody can see it the same way I
Right.
see it. So
No,
it's like, might as well
absolutely.
shut the fuck up.
well, and it's
Well,
hard.
it's
It
it's
is.
all of life, right?
I
Like,
know.
we're talking about illness, but this could be about what you eat for dinner, or do
Yeah.
you do cold plunges, or do you do
Yes.
yoga, or
Yeah.
like every decision is so personal.
So personal. Even though we all can form these big, there's lots of giant themes that connect us all as humans, but we have to remember that just like the sperm, you get back down to the grain of oneness, and you're just a unique shaped little grain that turns into
That
a
wiggles.
sperm.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's the perfect endpoint.
Boom. You're welcome.
Sorry.
It's like we're all so individual, but we are a collective. And that's what's beautiful about the whole journey from sperm to
And if you travel
perm.
together, one of us will make it.
One of us.
That's a good-
Sorry.
I love it. Yeah, I guess that's a great place to end.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
happy heart opening cacao.
Happy
Talk about
February.
uncomfortable shit. Podcast
and
episode.
sperm.
and coping mechanisms.
And coping mechanisms and
Coping
coping
sperms.
mechanisms.
Coping
Sperm.
sperms.
Coping sperms. That's the hashtag for this episode. And I just want to add on the end, we are I don't know, I'm excited about the direction of the podcast because we've decided to make it more I'm sorry, not more. We've decided to add on to what we already have in authenticity and playing around with social media a little bit, like beefing it up, just kind of being silly and embracing that we don't really care and don't really know what we're doing with it, but we're just going to do whatever we want to do with it. And I think we've all agreed on that from day one, but right now it just,
We put words around it.
yeah, and we're beefing it up. And this is, I think, our collective agreement is our brand is we're just real as shit. Like we're authentic, and that includes having difficult conversations. It includes talking about triggering stuff. It includes like trying to try social media stuff and just trying and like being real and being consistent and showing up no matter what we look like, what we feel like for each other, and exploring that journey of just chaos and unity and love and pain. And I feel good about it because of what Rachel and I sat down a while back and put a list of all of our episodes. We sort of are trying to kind of organize it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, yeah, I think I had like 3 guests on between the beginning and now. And by the time we were done with the list, there were 7 or 8 or more or 10.
More.
Wasn't it like 12 or
it was.
See, I don't.
If we counted everyone that's not normally on
it's
the
like
podcast.
we're actively going through these lessons that we're all learning on our individual journeys and together, and like creating as we go and seeing it. It's like your expectation was 3, but you got 12, for example.
Yeah.
To me, it's like that is a growth moment for you. And it's like these growth moments and these experiments and making marshmallows and like just putting it all out there. No matter where we are, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
We're just throwing it all together. And
well, I think it's cool too because we're all similar and we're all very different, and we talk about it in terms of like, here are the things we agree with, and it's okay to talk about the things we disagree on too.
Yeah.
Because I think that's real life.
Exactly. Yeah,
it is. And I don't like to use the key words that everybody uses, but normalizing that we all have different opinions on things, and they can all also be right.
They can all exist in the same space,
yeah,
right? And we can still love each other and disagree with each other.
Yeah. That's real growth. That's real human growth, like as a human being. And I think that's what we're all trying to do, is grow into the best human beings that we can be.
Compassionate engagement with the world around us is kind of where my head has been.
I love that.
Oh, I love that. Compassionate engagement with the world around us. And to me, that ties perfectly into being in the body and focusing on your spirituality, honoring being here, being present and being in your body and honoring that. And it brings all these quotes from all these different factions and religions and books and authors of things that everyone is trying to say the same thing, shrouded in all kinds of division, right? Be here now, Ram Dass.
Yeah.
You know, the
We're all
kingdom
just
of
walking each other home.
Raj Bhagna, yeah, bro. And then the kingdom of heaven is within. Bible. Rock on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like pick it, like it's about this right here.
Yep.
Peace out.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Good night, San Diego.
Who knows how to make this stop?
Oh, she has the
There's a
controller.
mouse over
Yeah, but I can't see that far
there.
away.
She never knows how
An
to do
end
it.
for all. I
So
thought I
authentic,
memorized
no? Authentico.
it. Yeah, there it is. End session
It's
for
not
all.
really the